Pain of the past, fear of the future, blood of the young. Let's review I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer stars Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., Brandy McCoy Pfeiffer, Muse Watson, and is directed by Danny Cannon. What is up, guys? Believe it or not, I reviewed I Still Know What You Did Last Summer 3 years ago, July 4th weekend. It's July 4th weekend right now. Finally, we're doing I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Been getting so many requests for this one. People saying, you reviewed the first one, why haven't you reviewed the second one? And don't dare review the third one. But you know what? I'm gonna review the third one. I don't know if I'll do it anytime soon, maybe next year, but I hear it's so god-awful bad that I almost have to review it, you know? Just because it's fun to review really, really bad movies. Also, it couldn't be more fitting because right now, as I'm recording this, it is thundering, lightning, and raining outside, and this movie is perfect for that because there's just rain throughout most of the movie. There's this tropical storm that hits pretty much early in the movie once they get to the Bahamas. I think it just adds another aspect to the movie, you know? Oh my God, the power literally just went out. I shit you not, the power just went out. My lighting umbrellas are out. This is awesome, actually. Hopefully the power will come back on. We'll see, but wow, this is insane. I swear to you guys, this is not a gag. This is not a bit. I am literally recording and my power went out. I have no generator backup. Should I review the rest of this movie with just like I'm in the witness protection program? I wouldn't do that to you. But wow, I guess I gotta pause the review. This is crazy. So the power just came back on. That's pretty much reviewer gold right there for something like that to happen. Wow, that's awesome. But yeah, let's continue with the review, I guess. Maybe the spirit of this movie creeped into my review, you know, with all the thunders and the rain and all that stuff. I don't know, I digress. But also, this will be the first review under the Drumdums Rotten Tomatoes certification. I literally was just approved to be a certified critic under Rotten Tomatoes. You can't make this stuff up. I cannot believe this happened 5 years into this. It wasn't really a goal when I started this thing. I just, took it month by month, and eventually I thought, you know what? I passed 30,000. I might as well apply to be a Rotten Tomatoes critic, certified critic, and I did that. It took about 6 months to a year waiting for that approval, but I just got the approval email the other day, so wow. But anyway, quick plot synopsis. This one picks up a year after the last I Know What You Did Last Summer. Of course, our main character, Julie, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, she is undergoing
Know What You Did Last Summer.
really trauma from the events of the last movie, as anybody would. I always like when sequels delve into a character that survived from the last movie and just kind of find out what they're going through, because that is a factor in sequels, and it's crazy if they don't delve into that stuff if somebody survives. But our main character, Julie, she's in college now. She's got new friends. Her new roommate, Carla, played by Brandy, they win this radio contest, and they're going to go to the Bahamas for a nice vacation, try to clear her head a little bit. And so she goes with Brandy and her boyfriend, Ty, played by McCoy Pfeiffer. And there's this new guy named Will who joins the fun. And Will's he probably feels like a fourth wheel because he's not with Julie. So he pretty much has blue balls the whole time he's in the Bahamas. Now, before I go any further, this will be a spoiler review, okay? This is a very old movie, and I'd like to talk spoilers along the way, because one thing that's interesting about this, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 spoilers, is that there is a twist at the end of it while we have, a dug-in killer, franchise killer, the Hook Man, Ben Willis. It would be like having a Michael Myers movie and then having some twist with another character popping out at the end. That's what happens at the end of this movie. Ben Willis's son, Will.
Come on, Julie, what's your favorite radio station? 96.7.
Will, Ben's son, he ends up playing a part in this movie. Now, I do like that before they get to the Bahamas, they dig into Julie's psyche just a little bit. There's a really memorable scene in the club. Julie's having fun, you know, and then all of a sudden she starts seeing these visions of Ben Willis here and there. And by the way, Ben Willis, just a striking looking killer. Visually very interesting, and I think that's always a big bonus in any slasher movie, you know? Make your killer look menacing and scary, but also just unique, I guess. Which is kind of funny because this and Urban Legend came out around the same time and the killers look similar almost. But throughout the movie, even when she gets to the Bahamas, she starts having these visions here and there. And as you're watching this, you're wondering, would this really be happening on the screen that she's seeing? Like there's a scene where she's playing karaoke and then all of a sudden it says, "I still know what you did last summer" on the screen. And I'm like, wait, somebody had to put that on there. And then it ties into the twist at the end of the movie, obviously, because it was Will who was doing it. Now, I did like the new additions, McCoy Pfeiffer, who plays Ty, and Brandy, who plays Carla. I thought they were good supporting characters. Carla is a really good friend, actually. You know, she wants to be there for Julie, even though she has her boyfriend in the Bahamas with her. So you would think that they're on vacation, they would be hooking up. But that's kind of a funny angle to this, is that Ty is complaining constantly because he can't get laid, because Carla's a good friend. And there is a scene, a kill in this movie, Ty's kill, that is hilarious because he's complaining, and then as he's complaining, right after, he gets killed by Ben Willis.
I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm fucking horny. Personally, I haven't seen one goddamn psycho killer.
Also, you know that trope that everybody complains about with slasher movies and how the black character gets killed first? This one, it kills 3 black characters sequentially in a row. And I was just like, wow, the balls on Danny Cannon. This might be the only slasher in history to have the balls to do something like that. And I think my urban audience should write a letter, honestly. Now, most of the kills in this movie are pretty similar in fashion, but I think they're still very effective. Just because of the weapon. I mean, it's a hook, kind of like Candyman, I guess. But when that hook clenches into its victims, it's pretty gnarly. And they do get a little creative here and there. Like there's some kills where the hook goes into somebody's back as they're laying down, so it like lifts them up, kind of like a 6-pack. You're gonna see like impalements with the hook, like under the chin, all kinds of fun stuff. And that's one thing I did forget about this franchise, is they don't really hold back in the blood and guts department. It is a rated R slasher movie, because for a second I was wondering, is this movie rated R or is it PG-13? I forgot. But after watching it, quickly I realized this is a rated R movie. Now, Jack Black is in this movie. This is one of his earlier movies. He plays this stoner guy with the dreads, and I think visually it was a problem because you could tell that the dreadlocks that he had, it was a wig. It definitely didn't look real. Jack Black just seems so out of character in this movie. I disliked him so much the last time I saw this movie that it weighted down the whole movie. And I could have swore I hated this movie after watching it the last time. And I guess that's a testament that sometimes your mood can affect your opinion on a movie. Because like I said, Jack Black turned me off so much in the last time I watched it that I didn't like it. This time around, I didn't realize that Jack Black's not in this movie that much at all, really. You know, he's in like 1 or 2 scenes, and then he's killed, and that's it. So most of this movie is not that at all, and I think this movie's paced very well, actually. The kills are paced very well. Jennifer Love Hewitt is really bringing her A game with the screams and whatnot. She almost overdoes it a few times, and I will say it was kind of stupid at the very end when she's in front of the grave. And she does the "what are you waiting for" huh thing again with her arms.
I'm not gonna die on this island. Do you hear me? If you want me back, come and get me. I'm right here.
It just didn't feel natural, you know? It didn't feel like a natural progression of the character, because I don't think she would constantly do that every time. But I guess that's like the money shot of the movie, so they wanted to reuse it. Also, the one scene that everybody talks about with this movie, of course, is the tanning bed scene. Jennifer Love Hewitt looks strikingly gorgeous in that scene, and I guess that's kind of a staple of slashers anyway. And it seems like 90s slashers, there was no nudity whatsoever, but I guess they make up for it with, I guess, the bigger names. But that's a fun scene too, because, you know, she's laying in the tanning bed and then Ben Willis comes in, and instead of just opening it and stabbing her with the hook and then credits roll, he zip ties it. And so that's just an ordeal. She's got to figure out how to get out of there, and then her friends come in and they cut the zip tie. But this does have, like, I think 2 moments where characters, they come into this random room and then there are like dead bodies in the rooms, which is also a heavy slasher trope. But I don't mind that trope. It's always fun. Plus you can get creative with that, because like in the first Halloween, when Bob's body like swings, you know, upside down, I like when they do stuff like that. They didn't really do that in this movie, but still. Also, there is this character named Estes, this old guy. He is the harbinger of doom trope. This movie might have the most slasher tropes of any slasher movie I've ever seen. You know, it's almost a template, by the numbers slasher. But Estes is an interesting character because there's a point in the movie where you're not sure if he's good or bad. But then eventually you find out that he's actually helping them, and I think he might have even known about Ben Willis's son, because he knew Ben Willis's backstory and how he had a family that lived there on the island. And so this reaches back to Ben Willis's backstory a little bit without getting in the way of the movie. Also, Freddie Prinze Jr., who plays Ray, he is in this movie, and he's a major part of the movie. Because at the beginning, his friend gets killed. He discovers that Ben Willis is alive, and so he spends the rest of the movie just trying to get to the Bahamas. And the fact that there is this tropical storm presents a problem for him getting to Julie. But I actually liked Freddie Prinze Jr. in this. He's great in the first movie. He's really good in this one. I was reading that he didn't like this movie at all, and since the movie, he hasn't even watched it. But I think that's pretty common with actors anyway. They don't really like watching themselves. But if you ask him, he's probably got some pretty bad things to say about this movie. I guess rightfully so. It's not the best movie. Now, as far as any cons, I've pretty much covered like the tropes. Sometimes tropes aren't really a bad thing if they're entertaining. But this one just has so many of them that you often wonder, like, what is this bringing new to the table? I do like the tropical storm location, though. You know, there's not very many horror movies that I can think of where you have to deal with the elements of nature while you're dealing with a slasher. So to me, that's a pro, actually. But I guess in the end, my biggest problem with this movie is Jack Black. I don't really care for him at all. But luckily, this time around, I found myself having a blast with this movie, actually. It kind of made me want to go back and watch the first one again, because the first one is the better movie, but this one might be the more entertaining, honestly. I think it's better paced, even. You know, there's a lot of kills in this movie. I want to say maybe a dozen kills. So, there's a lot that I forgot about this movie in terms of the good. So in the end, I'm going to give it a low purchase worthy. I'm glad I finally bought it, added it to my collection. I will put an Amazon affiliate link below in the info box and down in the comments for you guys if you want to buy it. And I would say a lot of these older slasher Blu-rays are starting to go out of print. So if you want it, I'd say go ahead and get it, because that's just one thing I'm noticing constantly now. So anyway, guys, let me know in the comments your thoughts on I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Looking forward to hearing them. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays we do Free for All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Drumdum out.